All right, so to get a little bit of basic terminology down, this huge thing right here is the filter. This is your multi-port. Right here where the water that we look into, this is our hair and lint strainer basket with the top. And then this right here is your pump where your motor is. And when it's on, this is what's making the sound. You have the motor inside going around. This is a chlorination device for sticks. We also have the bleach barrels. But again, this is your filter. This right here is your pump. Filter are the big beige items. Sometimes it can be a little bit other colors, but your filter, and it's connected to your pressure gauge right here. So again, just for a little bit more terminology, we just said this is the multi-port. You can see it's in filter, closed, backwash, rinse. These are the main ones, but filter, backwash, and rinse are what we want to know. And right here, this is our sight glass. And we'll go over to what we do with this in a little bit, but just to know, multi-port, normally always in filter is very important. You see this little bit right here is pointing in the filter. I can move it and change it, but I always want it to stay in filter. And this is my sight glass where I can see water flowing in or out. We should never see water moving in this sight glass. Should always be completely still or no water in there. And this device right here is the flow meter. If we kind of zoom in, you'll see a little valve floating in the middle halfway up. If it's all the way down, then something's wrong with our flow in the pipes. All right, so for each pump we have, we're gonna have a breaker switch normally that corresponds with it. So if I have two pumps and I need to cut them on, we always wanna cut them both on at the same time. We also, when we're cutting them off, normally wanna cut them both off at the same time. If we cut one on and then one off and we do it one and the other, we could strip the motor. So always, always, always cut them on and off at the same time. There could be some exceptions, but for safety, no matter what, if you always put them on and off at the same time, you'll be safe. Now if we go ahead and look at this one right here, sometimes some of our systems will have one thing that'll control all of our pumps together, and all I have to do is press this green button to start it and the red button to stop. So some of your systems may be simplified. It could also have a light switch like this, and you just cut on a light switch or a little red switch, and it's connected to this breaker box. Your manager or the pool specifics will know, but always, every pool will have one of these breaker boxes. All right, so when we're vacuuming, our vacuum line is all the way open. The water is getting sucked up through this. It's open, it's going through here. Our skimmers are closed, so nothing's coming through the skimmers, but as we're vacuuming up all that dirt, all those pine needles, leaves, worms that we saw, the big particles are gonna get collected right here in your hair and lint strainer. So it collects everything from hair to lint, basically. It's got little holes, and we'll see the basket in a minute. It collects all your big particles of dirt. The water keeps going through. It goes into this filter system. Inside this filter is sand. So basically the sand is going to trap all those little dirt particles. So if you can imagine dirt, it'll get trapped in here. As more dirt and very fine particles get trapped in here, the pressures on this gauge is going to build up. And we saw the pressure gauge earlier already at 18, so it was already 10 higher from all of our vacuuming. After it's filtered in, it collects the big dirt here, the small particles get caught in our filter, and then puts the clean water back into the pool. All right, so it goes right back in returning. When we're not vacuuming, the same thing happens. It takes water from the skimmer and the main drain. It sucks in water from there. If there's anything sucked in through the skimmer or the main drain, collects in here. The dirty water collects. Pressure will build up a little bit, and it sends the clean water back to the system. So it's a constant flow. Suction from our pump is taking the water from our pools, putting it through this system, and then pushing it back into the pool. All right, so we're finished vacuuming. We put all of our stuff up. We put our system back into regular settings. Now we need a backwash. It was over 10 PSI. So I've cut off my system. There's only one pump for the pool that we were doing, so we only cut off the one switch on the wall. I'm going to move this from filter into backwash. Okay? I'm going to follow this line, and we'll see it in a close-up in a second. We're going to follow it, all the way down into the drain. I put it on backwash. I'm going to put my red wristband on because we're about to drain the pool technically. So my red wristband says pool draining. What backwashing is we're taking water from the pool. It's going through just how we talked about earlier, moving through the system. Instead of collecting all the particles and stuff in here, it's taking all the dirt and small particles of dirt and sand from the filter, putting the dirt particles into the sewer. So we're taking fresh water from the pool, pushing it through the system. Instead of going back and recirculating into the pool, it's going through this filter, not going back to the pool, but instead going into the backwash valve or the backwash line into the sewer. So like we just said, you're going to start, when you're backwashing, you want to start at your sight glass, follow it all the way down. You're going to keep following the pipe under, keep going, and right here you see it entering in a drain. All right, you're gonna follow the pipe till it goes outside the wall, until it goes down into the bottom, until you see it finally going into a drain. You notice along this entire time we do not see any ball valves, jandy valves, any kind of valve. If we did see a valve that's called a backwash valve, we would have to open it to let the water go into this drain. These are installed to prevent leaks or to help the system function more properly. If we leave it closed while we backwash, all the dirt that we just backwash shoots back into the pool and it hurts our system. So always, always, always double, triple check to make sure you do not have a backwash valve. If you're at a pool you've never been to, this is a surefire way to ensure that you do not have a backwash valve. Start at the start at the sight glass, follow it through to the drain. If you have the valve, open it up and make sure you close it once you're completely done backwashing. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. I have it in backwash. I'm gonna turn it on the one switch for the pump, walk right back over here, and then so we talked about it earlier, in this sight glass you should never see water moving. This is the one time you're gonna see water moving. So you notice right now it's kind of still. We just turned on the switch as now it's filling all the way up and it's moving through. So what you're going to do when you're in backwash, you're going to put the system in backwash for about a minute to a minute and a half, or until this entire thing is clear. So you can kind of see it's got cloudy water going through. We're going to backwash for a minute to a minute and a half, or until this is clear, whichever is longer. All right, it's been about a minute and a half. The sight glass is clear, so I'm gonna come over here, kind of move quickly so it doesn't unprime. I'm gonna go from backwash, pushing it down, moving clockwise, put it in rinse, come back over here, flip on my breaker, and rinse. All right, so again, we're rinsing for about 30 to 45 seconds. Backwashing is gonna take all the dirt that's out of here, putting it in the sewer. It's going to lower our pressure that's built up over time. Rinsing is just basically stopping moving the water, and just any dirty water that's left in this pipe. It's going to clean it out for 30 seconds, just anything that's left in the system from backwashing, pushing it into the sewer so that we can go back into filter and none of that dirt will get back into our pool. All right, so finally it's been 30 seconds. I cut it off. I come back over here. I'm going to move it again clockwise. We're always moving clockwise, putting it in the filter position, going back. Triple checking everything is in normal settings. Flipping it on.